Alright guys, we're back. We're covering Fire Giant today. Hope you guys enjoyed the last video about Morgoth. I enjoyed making it and I received some nice feedback about it. So I'm going to continue on this little mini-series and we're going to be covering Fire Giant today, who is probably the most difficult boss for newcomers. I like to compare it a lot to some of like the Bloodborne bosses that I've had to go through, such as like Amelia, Amygdala, and Ebrietas, which are all like super scripted fights, and Fire Giant is exactly the same. They're just really difficult to get that muscle memory, and to get all of that internalized takes a lot of effort and a lot of practice. So today I'm going to be giving you guys some guidelines to follow when considering learning this fight for the first time in the speedrun. I'm going to be going over a couple of different openers. I'm going to be even including a backup strat, which will be how you save fights that don't go your way. So stay tuned, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Thank you all for watching. First, I'll explain the equipment we're going to be using for this fight. You're going to want 30 strength and 41 dexterity. For your talismans, you're going to want the Radagon Sword Seal and the Warrior Jar Shard. And you're going to want to have your Golden Halberd in your right hand, or whatever weapon you're using for Golden Vow. And your Bloodhound's Fang in the left, with a Bleed Grease ready to use. Now that we have all of that squared away, let's go over how you want to go into the fight. So let me just give you guys an example of what it's supposed to look like. So we're going to put our Bloodhound's Fang on our left hand, which, if you don't know, it makes you two-hand your weapon on horseback. We're going to use Bleed Grease at this rock to my left. We're going to switch back to our right-hand weapon, jump off at the tree, use Golden Vow, and then you want to use the horse whistle to tank through the snow attack right here. And there you go. There's quite a bit going on with the Fire Giant opener. There's about 4 or 5 different attacks you can do, so let me just explain to you the sequence real quick again. You're going to want to use Bleed Grease. You're going to want to ride until you see this tree, jump off, use Golden Vow, and right here is where it gets tricky. You want to use your horse whistle, and you want to make sure that your frames are overlapping to where you have iframes, right? So you want to be given iframes as the snow attack is passing over you while you're jumping on the horse. Here it is one more time in slow motion. The little nuance with this opener is the fact that you can kind of get there before he lands, but you're going to want to like kind of stall a little bit on the horse, and then as soon as he lands, you want to do a jump R2. After you land from the jump R2, you're going to want to crouch the animation to cancel it, and then do a little semicircle, and then do an L2 R2. After the second weapon art, crouch again, and you're going to want to L2 backwards. That way, when he starts rolling, you're going to be in position. Crouch one more time, and then walk up to his leg a little bit, and then just do a charge R2. From here, you should have the first phase script down. So once you land this charge R2, you're going to want to wait for your stamina to go slightly above the health bar. Do an L2 R2, R1, and then charge R2. And that should be it for first phase. Also, something to note for this fight, you're going to want to crouch cancel or block cancel any sort of animation that gets you stuck here, right? So that's going to be the weapon R2, the charge R2, the R1, everything you want to be canceling with crouches or blocks. Now, the phase 2 sequence can be a little bit tricky to get down since it's so precise and it can sometimes be random, but I'm going to go over it with you guys in slow motion. The order of your inputs here is going to matter a lot, and they have to be quick. You're going to want to do a crouch input for stamina regen, and then right away use a blue flask and a kukri, all in that order. This part's really important. You're going to want to look for this little grass pattern that I'm going for here. This is going to take some time to get into your muscle memory, but I pretty much know exactly where his hand's going to fall down, right? Now, if you're playing on current patch, I don't know if you'll be able to do this exactly as I do, but watch how I do a wave dash here for stamina. That's also a pretty important detail. If you did first phase correctly, the sequence should be charge R2, R1, and then L2 R2, and that should knock him over. Once you knock him over, he should die in 2 hits, so what you're going to want to do here is regen stamina till the 3rd symbol on the bar, and do L2 R2 on the eye. Now that we've covered the first opener and the most important ground rules to keep in mind with this fight, I'm going to let this one play in fast motion and just let you guys observe. So that's pretty much your ideal Fire Giant fight, right? Let's go back into it. This opener I like to call Plate Slam into the follow-up because he does a follow-up attack, so you can't really do a weapon art right away. I have to kind of chase him down in order to land that weapon art on his foot. Right here, it's important to have good positioning when you get off of Torrent, because as you see here, it works out really well because all I have to do is take a couple of steps forward and do a weapon art attack. So we see it again with this opener, right? We take a slight step backwards and do a semicircle and then do a weapon art attack when he plants his feet. Now I have 2 more openers to show you guys, and then the rest is going to be practicing on your own. This is going to be called the charge opener, and it's the second out of the 2 options you can do off of the start. Now for the last opener, we're going to cover the slow slam, and actually a backup strat you can do in case that second phase doesn't go your way. So I said before that Fire Giant's second phase can be slightly random, and that's due to the Firestorm that he's going to spawn in here in just a second, right? I see that it's going to spawn underneath his hand, and so I don't commit to the secondary weapon art. Instead, I kind of just get more stamina, and then try to finish out the fight by hitting his leg. So it should be the same amount of hits to stagger him if you did first phase correctly. I know this, so I'm going to go for an L2 on his leg, and then a follow-up on his eyeball. And then after that, you want to do an L2 on his eyeball, then turn around and do an R2 on his hand, like I do. And that's Fire Giant, guys. That's all the different openers that I know of. Thank you all for watching, and I hope this helps one of you guys. Appreciate you all. See you next time.